but he is out back to the U23s, not out of the team, but back to U23s. In steps and peeked his head out, I guess. We all realized who he was. This kind of happened with Gerards as well, where during the game, you see the new man just in the suites is sticking his head out, and everyone immediately people took pictures. It's Kees van Wonderen, Dutch manager, former PSV player. As you mentioned, managed the youth teams in the Netherlands with Ronald Koeman. He was also with the Go Away Eagles, got them promoted, so he has some relegation experience. Kept Go Away Eagles in the Eredivisie in the second year. Went to Herenveen and did okay there. So he comes in. He had a press conference today and a quick Q&A, which is interesting. Normally these coaches just bring them in, just do a press conference, and that's it. They actually did a Q&A with the fans online, which is interesting. A little wrinkle, maybe the sign of the times with social media. But some of the quotes from Van Wonderen in the press conference today, he says, it's important for me to have a challenge, and that's what I've got here at Schalke. I fully identify with the role. I don't need any easy tasks. I continued on saying, the whole club has made a good impression on me, including the staff, my assistant, Robert Molinar, who came over with him. And I have known each other for a long time. I'm the one with the responsibility, but we will do everything as a team. That's important to me. He says, I'm going to hold the players. I told the players this morning that it's a privilege to play at a club like this. Competition for places is another factor. You can only improve if you push one another, and to be better. This is what we need to be. And then lastly, he says, I like to work with young players, not just because they're young and talented. They're prepared to improve every day, something that isn't dependent on age. An older player can also give me this kind of energy. So you already get all the themes that Ben Manga had been talking about for a while. This is a guy that it was on nobody's bingo card going forward. Everybody is spreading all these rumors about who may be the next guy here. No one mentions this guy whatsoever. Kind of goes to speak about what Ben Manga has done now and had been doing since he got here. Doesn't really leak much. It's just people come up all of a sudden, oh, I didn't see that coming. But thoughts on the new man, the guy who will be playing more likely a 4-3-3?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not surprised it was one of the bigger, flashier names that were being thrown out there. I wouldn't be surprised if some of those were thrown out by Manga or the team internally anyway, to just kind of distract from the actual evaluations that were happening, just to create a lot of smoke in the distance that you can kind of work silently in the background on. So I'm not surprised it was a name that we weren't really talking about last week or the week before. I mean, first of all, I just want to say, go ahead, Eagles. One of the better names in world football for sure for clubs. Yeah. Hilarious. Yeah. Love that every time I see it. Anyway, I'm sure there's history there that I'm being extremely ignorant of. Anyway, yeah, I think in the chat just now, there's a comment that summarizes how I feel to some extent quite well, which is that I've gotten so cold with all these phrases. I just want to see results. It's fine. Any manager can come in and say any number of platitudes, and it's not going to matter all that much, until we see results on the pitch.
Yeah.
That being said, for what it's worth, addressing some of the things you said, yeah, sure. I mean, like the fact that he mentioned, how much he enjoys working with you players, great. We have a couple of them that have just recently broken to the squad. As I mentioned before, the youth development and progression is a part of the culture, and if he's somebody that can help continue to support that and buy into that and foster that, great. I mean, that's part of the the Schalke way or whatever. I think the fact that he personally, and then also his right-hand man, whose name escapes me, you just mentioned a second ago. Both of them were center backs in their playing days. So these are people that presumably know and understand that position on a very personal level, not just, tactically top in, but actually from that position, what it takes, the things you need to work on. I think that's going to be hopefully a benefit, obviously.
Certainly for Bullet.
For Bullet, yeah, first and foremost as a young player stepping in, but to the the back line of the defense in general, which as we said has been a sore spot for us early on. So I'm looking forward to see what shape he ultimately goes with. I know we talked about his history with the 4-3-3, whether or not he adjusts that at all given the personnel that we have. But yes, look, certainly seems like a name that Ben Manga has been familiar with for a while, and so somebody that he has confidence in and is excited to be working with. And once again, also seems like Ben Manga had, as we expected, significant level of influence over who ultimately was on the names. Obviously, some conversations with the board to kind of agree on what they're looking for in terms of a coaching profile. But when it came down to the actual candidates, I'm sure Ben Manga was, pretty heavily involved in securing this guy.
Yeah, Van Wonderen said, I believe in total football is very, very Dutch there. They play a 4-3-3. 4-3 in the attacking sense, but it's also he believes very much in defense. Like you said, he and Mullen are center backs by trade, and so yeah, we'll see what they can do. He'll have 2 weeks to kind of get the team prepped, or not even 2 weeks, 12 days to get the team prepped before the first game, managing them. And so it'll be interesting to see. Hanover's a good test, as will be Greuther Fürth. So how can we build upon this? I think Fimpel gave a good outline of what this team could be. You just got to mold it to his system, obviously, and what he's looking for. But I think everything that Manga said he was looking for, what I've read from Van Wonderen, it's exactly what he wanted. Like you said, heavily influenced, and hopefully it's a good change. Like with anybody else, going to give it a chance and see how it goes. But yeah, to be determined. But I'm all for it. We all got to support him at the moment, right? So
there we go.
There we go.